Moist cake, good. Moist ick, bad.
I think most things, I think all matter and like organisms can be categorized by ick and moist.
I'm not sure I like that rating.
I will not explain further. Next topic.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I will not be fielding questions.
I am neither a scientist
Nor a human.
What was
Where
were you
neither
going?
a scientist nor.
I was hoping someone would jump in and thanks, Guy, for doing so. Nor.
Nor.
And that's it. I leave. Then I walk out.
What's a good cold open?
Now, what about that pesky cold open?
Is there something that you rewatch, a comfort show? Lately, I've been...
Oh, it's something that we rewatched this holidays? How about what's something you're rewatching?
Yes, absolutely. In France, Netflix France has The Office because they don't have Peacock here, which is fucking great. So I've been rewatching The Office.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I've been dying to talk about this. Now, as someone who has been on the apps within the last year, why is liking The Office such a personality trait?
It is.
Is
For
it a
some people,
stability
not me.
thing? Do you think it's like a stability thing? Like it's a green flag.
Stability
Like people
how?
who want to rewatch The Office, they're not crazy.
I think Hetzel's saying it as that's a red flag.
No. It's not a red flag.
It's
It's
not a
just
red-
no. They're asking why is
Not
it
a
a
red
personality trait? I think if someone tells me
It's a yellow flag.
yeah, like
They could
it
go
depends
either
on
way.
who you are. Yeah, exactly. So like people want to rewatch The Office, they live very stable lives. You know, they're not trying to be out until 3 a.m. in the morning or something like that. They want to be up watching The Office at 3 a.m.
So it says
I think it's
something
people's
about
way
them.
of trying to be relatable.
Is
Yeah.
that something?
I'm
And
relatable.
funny.
I watch The Office.
That's not.
I'm so funny.
Yeah.
I don't relate with that at all.
Exactly. The Office isn't your personality, Antonio.
It's not.
What yours is, I shudder to think about, but it's not The Office.
That's a little intense for our first chat of the new year.
Hey. If I'm too much, go find less.
Go find less. Hey y'all, welcome to Sit Down Loser. We're watching a movie. My name's Dahlia.
I'm Sky.
I'm Antonio.
And I'm Ketzel, and we're just 4 seasonings on a bagel who watch movies that everyone else has watched, except one of us is a loser who hasn't. Today we're watching a movie that showed us that when you fuck around with the multiverse, you find out. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, released in 2022, directed by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. And today's loser is...
It's a me.
Shocker.
I
Dahlia.
know. And guess what? I'm across the ocean right now from all of you guys. It is late and it is morning for you, which is so fun. I'm also buzzed.
And I'm hungover.
Thoughts?
I'm fresh.
I'm... Alright.
Some of us are ready for the day. Some of us are not. Some of us are ending our day.
And some of us are barely here at all.
I just, yeah.
I feel like that rhymes somewhere in there, so I like that.
And slam poetry.
I like that.
I like So, why we picked this beautiful fucking movie?
Because it's amazing, first off.
Truly.
Also, period. It really is. I think everyone I've talked to has had it in their top 5, if not their favorite movie of last year, 2022. It's also a major Oscar contender. Oski season.
It's Oski season. Bundle up. It's Oski
And if it doesn't win every award it's nominated for,
I'm going to be so mad.
I'm going to go postal.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so mad.
And you know what's kind of funny?
I'm gonna lose my shit.
What's kind of funny about that is like, just to preface this, I have seen the movie, this is we're kind of doing it a little out of order because I watched this on the plane, and that was very fun because I watched 3 movies in a row, and it was so crazy. And this was the last of it, and honestly, Chef's Kiss, beautiful fan. I'm so glad I saved it for last. It's just like the cherry on a dessert. I like to eat that last because I'm like, nim, nim, nim. Like it's beautiful, amazing. And truly, when I finish this movie, I'll say that later. But oh man.
It felt like a cherry, huh?
Completely. Yes, it was the cherry. It was the cherry, and I wish I could go back in time and have seen it. But I can't. But if you guys haven't, I'm pretty sure we saved it in our highlights to see what our fave movies of the year were. And that wasn't on there because I hadn't seen it yet. I'm mad.
You hadn't seen anything. I feel like me, Antonio, and Ketzel's list were very similar. And then Dahlia's was like so different.
Who is
Yeah.
she?
But had I seen like Glass Onion and the menu prior to like, I feel like December, we all suddenly started to watch movies.
Because we suddenly had free time.
I know, because like,
That's true. I think that's what it
Yeah.
was.
You finally have time to actually like do stuff. I slotted in the menu because I just wouldn't like not see that.
As a foodie.
As someone who loves food, I was definitely gonna go see it, and man, that one I had to see so that way I could get it in. But it's kind of like the Spotify Wrapped rhythm, where they're like, "Dude, December 1st, we got to put this out. It's got to come out the end of the year." So you kind of just can't. You can't anymore.
Yeah, I can't
you can't
squeeze
slot
it
anything.
in
Everything
anymore.
you've done is what you've done.
You know, I kind of hate
mean,
that Spotify does
I
that
can't
too.
wait to watch the menu.
Me too.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched
Oh,
it yet.
we can watch
I'm-
it together.
One movie that I watched that I would have put in probably my top 5 was Bones and All.
Which is so surprising to me. I know nothing about this movie. Don't talk about
It's
it.
so good.
But I'm just so shocked.
If you knew literally anything about that movie, then it shouldn't.
Yeah,
be
our
surprising.
resident cannibal apologist,
Allegedly.
No. Cannibal Apologist
Guy.
is nice.
Sky.
Cannibal Protege.
Yeah, I
Oh my
mentioned
God.
it before that it was the cannibal movie with Timothy.
Oh, you
Chalamet.
did.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
I
so it
immediately
shouldn't
said
be
no
shocking.
to
Yeah.
it. No, I immediately said no to it. I was
And
like,
I
that's
said yes.
nasty. I'm like, I wouldn't watch that. But Sky, being the cannibal apologist that she is, of course she was going to watch it. And what you said about it
It was really good.
is surprising to me, though. But that just kind of
It was
makes me
good.
want to watch it.
It was not as graphic as I thought it was going to be, though.
Oh, good.
I will be honest.
Surprisingly, I don't like gore. So, interesting. Anyway, that was point A.
You don't like gore?
No. I don't like body mutilations. I don't want to watch somebody's arm get sawed off.
Why? It's so much fun.
Why?
Because
Yeah, I'm like,
bleh.
but that's funny.
Is that what you see, Sky? And then you're just like, you know, if
That's
I
fun.
nibbled
I'm
that,
hungry.
if I cooked that at the right temperature,
Here, the
that
problem
looks like it
I
would
have
taste
with
so
that
good.
is I don't want to eat people raw.
No, she said
I couldn't go in
She
raw.
said cook at the right temperature.
Yes, cooked at the right temperature.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna fillet them and I'm gonna eat them, and they're gonna taste
I'm
good.
gonna put them in a little Instapot and do a little shredded moment.
a little
Like
pot
a little,
roast,
a little Sammy for me.
A traditional
little Arby's
recipe.
I'm
curly
feeling
fries.
so sick right now.
My fellow cannibals out there, that's you.
Stay down, don't rise up.
Don't, please don't, for the love of God, don't rise up. Please
Sit down.
sit down. You're not allowed at the
Girl,
table.
sit down and eat
You're
your
not
food.
allowed at the table.
You're
No,
not allowed
Antonio.
at the table. You're not allowed to the potluck, bro.
Thanksgiving, sorry, you're not in. You're out.
Anyway.
Anyway, forgot what we were talking about. But anyway, so the last reason, so we had 2 multiverse movies come out last year, and only one of them was good, like the best, and it was this one. And it has nothing to do with comic books or anything. It's its own original story, which I think is really swell.
And they've had the story in their minds for a while. And then they saw like all
Yeah.
the multiverse stuff coming out. They're like, fuck. But good for them because this is the best one.
You know, they were Marvel actually reached out to the Daniels, as they're known, to direct Loki, the Loki series,
Oh, really?
Oh,
I haven't
what
seen
and they
it.
were like, "Nah, I'm good."
Good for
No, we're
them. They're like,
I
"We
know,
don't
I
need
was
you."
like-
I got another trick up
Yeah,
my
because they went on to
sleeve.
do this.
That's amazing.
So
I didn't know that, but isn't that just so funny how things just kind of coincide where it's just like, oh, suddenly there's all these like multiverse films, but I didn't know that they had this in their back pocket for a while, which is great because, you know, it came out at a time where everybody has an understanding of multiverse. Like, if you said this to me 5 years ago, I'd be like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds confusing.
5 years ago would have been Cloud Atlas.
The movie Antonio mentions every now and then reminds
He sure
me of who he
does.
is.
I
I've
love a
never
good
seen that,
artsy movie.
So
Oh, it was a really big movie. Like before podcasts
It was
were
a book.
super big, you would like watch YouTube. It was a book. But when the movie came out, I remembered seeing a lot of like YouTubers talking about it and everything like that. But I like that one.
I gotta rewatch.
Has anyone
Nah,
else
I
seen
gotta
it?
rewatch
No.
it.
You're the only one. Oh. Never
I've
mind.
seen it before, the before times. Unbelievably, right? Wow, me and Antonio have so much in common.
I don't know if it's like
oh my god, it's like you guys are each other's besties.
Oh my god, it's like you love Antonio like the most, I think.
It's like Antonio's your favorite,
I
huh?
think so.
And I didn't say that. I love
But
you
you're
all
not saying that.
equally.
No!
On the
do you
record,
now?
on the
I love
record,
you
I
all
love you all
equally.
equally.
Hmm.
I'll give you a kiss, all in the mouth.
Anyway,
But
So, Dahlia, was it going to be tongue? Wait a second. Will it be tongue?
If you want it.
Nice. Okay, so right before you got on the plane and you were doing your little notes, what did you know about this movie?
I knew that Michelle Yeoh was in it. I knew that the kid from the Goonies was in it. And that's kind of all I knew. I didn't really know anything else. The googly eyes.
that's fair.
And that's about it. I knew nothing. I didn't want to. I think I had maybe a tinge of multiverse here and there, but it just seems so like they didn't want to reveal anything in the trailers that I had seen. So that's pretty much as far as it went. I truly didn't know anything about the plot. I didn't know anything about the main characters, how it went. And honestly, it surprised me literally at every corner. I feel so bad for the guy sitting next to me on the plane because I watch all these movies back to back and he was there watching me cry and scream and cover my mouth in horror.
I was going to say, you're a very vocal movie watcher, too, so...
I'm the worst
You can
person to
imagine
sit
he
next
was
to
just-
movies.
trying to sleep, and you're like,
Y'all remember Sonic? Sonic 2?
y'all remember Black Phone in theaters?
Hey, now. That was...
I just want to take a look at you.
I just
You screamed, and I was mortified to be on the other side of you.
Next time, I'm going to sit all the way in the front and you guys can sit all the way in the back and you guys can be like,
Sounds good.
God, when you hear me audibly gasp from the front going,
You in the front, shut up!
shut up down there. Then you won't feel
Turn off the flash, you moron.
obligated. But that's pretty much all. I knew zero things about it besides two of the actors, and that's it. Oh, I think Jamie Lee Curtis, I saw her in the previews, and I was like, what?
Man, honestly, she kind of seemed like just a cameo from the trailers. And I almost wished that she just stayed as a cameo. That would be just more fun, I think. But also, I did like her character parts.
I loved her character, but we can discuss that later. The Rotten Tomatoes scores are 95%. Audience was 89, and Google users 84. I feel like that should be higher. but
That
that's
should be
a
an
bias
A+
should be higher.
movie. That should be over
Should be an A++.
95s.
for all of them.
Look,
And that's the least that I would
you
go.
can never ask people to be smarter. You can just, pretend to
Just
be
try
dumber.
harder next time. But you fucked this one up.
Try harder to be
You
better.
fucked this one up is all I'm saying. I don't like those scores. Rotten Tomatoes, but it could be higher because she's movie of the year, baby.
She's movie of the year. She's the moment.
She
Um,
is.
The list of actors. So we can get fuck the score. So let's just go ahead and get into the actors.
Truly.
We have Queen Michelle Yeoh, who we've already had on the podcast, spiritually, not physically, because wow, can you imagine? Stephanie Hsu, Ke Huy Quan, James Hong, Jamie Lee Curtis, Harry Shum Jr., which I knew from Glee, and I hate to say that.
I did too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even I didn't clock that.
What?
Unless I can't remember
I
his
always
face.
remember.
Sure.
He was one of the original cast members of Glee. That's Mike. That's one of the Mikes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was the
didn't watch
dancer.
clock
Well,
it.
well, of course
at
he
all.
didn't fucking know that then.
Oh, I do remember the dance. You're right. You're right.
I didn't know that he was from Glee. I've seen him from other
yeah,
things
he's in other things
um,
now.
across the years. You know, I'm only Asian, so you know, whenever you watch something Asian, there's only so many fucking Asian actors that get recognition.
And you're like, that's me. That's me.
Jenny Slate, who was a joy to have randomly in this movie,
Truly.
and Tally Mandel. So I mean, you knew Michelle Yeoh, and you knew,
about Kiwi.
and I assume also you knew Jamie Lee. So
No, I have no idea who that is ever.
yeah, I'm
Just kidding.
I'm
Queen
Simply-
Halloween.
yeah.
Miss Thang.
Queen of my everything.
What were your expectations, Dahlia?
Let me read them to you because I just found them in our text messages. I will also say, just because my notes, I wrote my expectations at the bottom because I started with those, so they kind of went staggered all the way down. I didn't take that many notes because I was so amazed by the movie I could not stop looking at it. Expectations. It's going to be movie of the year. I'm excited to find out why. 0 points of the storyline are known to me except that Goonies kid saves the day, ? Maybe? ? I'm going to love it, and I'm excited for the hype. Going to guess that it's 100% worth it.
Dear Diary.
Dear Diary, I'm about to watch a movie. It's gonna change everything.
Everywhere all at once.
We're back.
Hey,
Hi.
how y'all doing?
It's actually...
So after logistical difficulties, we had to take a small break in between parts 1 and 2 of this episode.
Yeah, it
You
was a
could say
3-week
difficulties.
break. It was a 3-week break. So here we are 3 weeks later, fresh.
Hot take. What are
Fresh.
your immediate reactions?
Oh boy, I mean, it's just so fresh, just so many thoughts.
I
It's
didn't
like
even hear that.
hot out of the oven.
Dahlia, I want you to put yourself back in your mind palace on the plane, your mind plane.
Mm-hmm.
What were your immediate reactions after seeing this movie?
It was literally the most funny, incredible, sometimes I didn't even know what was going on movie.
She's an icon.
Sausage fingers to another level.
There was never a level
I-
before.
Truly.
There hadn't been a level.
Don't you point those
Sausage
those
fingers.
Green sausages at me. You're right.
So
You know
there
what?
was a level.
You know what? You're so right. And the bar was so high with that. So thank you so much for reminding me.
Right?
Lovely.
We're about to talk about that soon.
Oh, we sure are.
Sneak
Boink.
peek.
But it was so good.
Spoilies alert.
it was so good. I couldn't believe that I hadn't seen it before, and I'm very happy to have watched it on the plane. I had 0 sleep, but I don't regret that at all. In fact, I was actually looking over at Antoine, who I forced to watch on the plane coming back, and that was the only movie he watched. And he said it was fantastic.
I mean,
Even though he did give it 4 out of 5, but we're not going to talk about that.
I know. Oh,
You know,
I know. He don't watch films like us. We're just on another level.
well, we're also. I also would like to say that we're coming off fresh off the nominees announced for the Academy Awards, and we just love to see it.
11, baby.
11.
11. Which is fantastic and well deserved.
Anyway, we can go ahead and go off with the...
Did your phone come back on?
Yeah, it restarts.
What
That's so strange.
That's
Yeah.
annoying.
That sounds like a trip to the Genius Bar. Apple.
You know what?
The Genius
Antoine
Bar.
said the same thing.
The Appy Store.
The Appy Store.
The Appy Store.
So why can't I order a drink at the Genius Bar while we're at it?
You know what? Let's.
Why-
not talk
hey,
about
why
it.
Only
can't I have
geniuses
an
are allowed
Appy
to
juice
drink
at the
at the
Apple
Genius
Store?
Bar.
'Cause
Why?
it's a speakeasy. That's why, and you don't know the secret password. The end.
Is it Appy?
What is it? Is it Jobs? Is it Steve Jobs?
You're in.
Is it
Black
turtleneck?
Anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
I was
shall
like,
we?
anyway, so about this movie.
So about this movie, let's just jump
Let's get
into
talking
it.
about
Let's
it.
fucking jump into it. Yeah, there's so much to talk about, and you know what? We'll see how we can possibly explain this Doctor Strange movie.
Well, it is split into 3 parts.
Yes.
It
And
is.
the first part is
The beginning.
everything. Thanks, guys.
not the beginning. Act 1.
The beginning.
It's been 3
part
weeks,
1.
man.
It's part 1 of 3.
I'm jet lagged.
Part 1 of 3 is everything.
So we are introduced to Miss Evelyn Wang and Waymond, her husband, and they are immigrants who have a laundromat and also a daughter named Joy. And currently, the immediate problem is that the laundromat's being audited by the IRS, which I think we all have a common enemy in the IRS, so this is highly relatable.
This
It's
is
tax
so
season.
right because it's tax season.
Tax season! What are you guys getting for tax
The
season?
taxes are taxing.
Taxes are taxing.
The IRS is my enemy.
The IRS is all of our enemies. Anyway, so they're being audited by the IRS, which sucks, obs. And Evelyn's father, Gong Gong, is also visiting for a Chinese New Year party.
Joy wants her mom to accept her non-Chinese girlfriend, Becky.
Becky with the good hair.
Becky with the good hair. And Evelyn is like trying to conceal the fact that Joy has a girlfriend from Gong Gong. And let's talk about Gong Gong, period, because Grandpa is actually very famous.
He's very famous.
Very, very famous.
He is the moment.
Love him. Loved his work in Mulan. Loved his work in Kung Fu Panda.
The list goes on and on.
Okay, you tell we're younger millennials.
What gave it away?
Mulan.
Anyway.
But also, like, because you get Evelyn so immediately, we can also talk about Evelyn as a character. While I have a different immigrant experience as this Chinese immigrant family, I found so many parallels between Evelyn and my mom. So I was like, I understand this. I see the way she displays love and is such a hard ass. I was just like, that's my mom. That's like that like strong immigrant,
That backbone of the family.
the backbone, and strict as shit.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you get that immediately from the beginning. And then, we are introduced to Gong Gong. We're also introduced to Waymond, and he is actually
The man of my dreams.
he's actually in the process of being like, yeah, let's get a divorce. And it's really fucking, like, it's just big yikes, period.
And Waymond is
and
so
it's-
sweet. So, like, it's kind of hard to believe.
And that's just like the hardest part about it is like you see Evelyn being the hard ass in the beginning and Waymond is just so nice, but then he's the one filing for a divorce, and it's just really sad. So it's just bad vibes all around, and I think
Hurt people just hurt people.
for me
That's like the story of this movie.
absolutely yes,
trauma.
yes.
Generational
So
trauma.
much trauma. My notes as I was watching it, because I was writing a lot, so much to follow: divorce, being audited, and Grandpa is kind of dying
That's why he came to live with them.
because he's
Right?
sicky.
I didn't remember that, and I watched it fairly recently.
Yeah. Because the nursing home or someone calls her, right? I don't know. We watched it on New Year's, but I remember that, like, it's not just him being here for Chinese New Year. It's like because he's getting
dying.
older.
He's getting older. So
Yeah.
He's like in
are they
hospice,
really-
basically.
Are they going to house him?
I think it's that thing that happens when your parents get older, so they move in with you, sort of thing. It's like,
It's
Yeah.
that
okay.
thing.
I think.
I think that's also part of like Chinese culture is like the grandparents. Everybody is with you, the whole family. It's multi-generational.
TBA is part of
so.
fucking Mexican culture too, as far as I can speak to.
America's like, oh, fuck those guys.
Put him in a
nursing
different
home.
house.
Let somebody else take care of them. And yes, so
Oh, I was gonna say also, maybe I'm wrong. This was unclear to me. Waymond only filed for divorce because he wanted them to communicate, right? Like he didn't actually want to divorce her, right?
I don't think he was asking for too much. I think that
I think he was at the end of his rope.
He's like,
Yeah.
I just want us to
I think
talk.
he was actually.
Well,
I
because
think
their friend got a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, these guys did it. blah blah blah, and that she was like, so that makes it okay because they did it, blah blah blah.
Okay.
No, I think he
You're-
was at the end of his rope at that point, and he was like, you know, I don't want our lives to be like this the rest of like our time on Earth. So
Yeah.
if it's what you got to do, then you got to do.
I also discovered some other notes that I had. I wrote "What's with the googly eyes?" because I guess that was the first introduction. And this is still in the beginning, and as we're getting introduced to all the characters, Evelyn was also fat shaming Joy a lot. So I don't know if that's a thing.
No. That's just a mom thing.
That's a fucking mom thing.
That's a
Yeah.
mom thing. You were getting fat is a mom thing.
Yep.
Still fat shaming,
I don't know.
but it's a mom thing.
Yeah.
It is, but I mean, like, it's specific to the mom. It's not like
Is it like
not
a-
everyone.
That's
Is
what I
it
mean by
like
the
a
way she
sign of
shows love.
Yeah.
Is that a sign of love? But it's more damaging than
Oh,
not.
yeah. It's trauma, baby.
And then I also wrote Evelyn loved her hubby until she didn't. That sucks. Wayman wants to be loved like the before times. Life comes at you fast.
Life comes to you so fast.
Yeah.
You just gotta work.
And then as they're like, you know, going through this IRS bullshit, they have an appointment to go see the inspector, Deirdre, who is Miss Jamie Lee Curtis. And
Love
she's
her.
fabulous.
Thank you.
Impeccable.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you for just showing up. You did everything, but not all at once. Waymond. Suddenly, Wayman's body is briefly taken over by Alpha Waymond. Don't get lost, people. A version of him from the Alphaverse. And this Waymond comes alive and he's explaining that there's so many parallel universes that exist because every life choice creates a new alternate universe. And that was just very mind-boggling to me on the plane as I was sitting, going so many hundreds of miles an hour above the earth.
And
I'm
you're like,
just
are we
whoa.
plane jumping right now?
And there's just so much verse jumping, and you can access different skills from your parallel universe selves by performing bizarre acts and that are statistically unlikely. So like I think at some point Wayman grabs like gum from underneath the table and starts chewing it, which is very bizarre.
The most bizarre one was eating chapstick.
That I was just
I
looking
can't.
that one
I
up.
can't
I'm trying
not
to
think
rec-
about
I
that.
can.
I'm
I have
trying to
that
recall
mouthfeel.
them.
I have that mouthfeel.
I was like,
It's like eating wax,
You
and
know
I can
why?
like feel it right now as I think about it. And I'm
Have
just
you
like,
guys done it before? Because you guys are really being so descriptive.
of course,
Yes,
I've been
of course.
6 years old before.
We've all been children. We're all people here.
But the weirder it is, the more you like access stuff. Like, and we'll get to some other.
So
things
you got to
later,
act on
but-
those intrusive thoughts.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh wow, you just really brought it around, didn't you? We were talking about putting hands in garbage disposals. At least I wasn't. You guys were.
I wasn't part of that.
Yeah, you were.
What kind of powers would you
You
unlock
said
if
my
you turned on the
intrusive
garbage
thoughts.
disposal yourself?
If I had to pick between turning on the garbage disposal and doing another weird act, I probably would choose the other weird act, but that's just me.
That's just me.
It's just me, personally. Also, this, like, Alpha Women's kind of sexy. He's much more...
He is.
He's kind of...
Just that confidence.
Yeah, he's just very,
Yeah.
like, very, what's the word?
There's a word I'm trying
He's
to think of
assertive?
too.
Is it
Assertive.
kind of
He's
like
assertive.
being-
Yeah.
Assertive, yeah,
Is he,
he's
like,
very
hero-like?
assertive. Very that. He's like
Oh.
an action, like, hero.
Yeah.
He's like, we gotta do
He
this
is.
or
He's
the
like
world.
a
Yeah.
superhero.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love that. There was a lot of stuff happening in the scene while they're at the IRS, and it's like the cinnamon toast cruncher was fantastic. I was very
cruncher?
compelled by it. It was so crunchy. It was fantastic.
This is the
And by
crunchiest.
crunchy, I mean good. It was probably the crunchiest I've ever seen in a film. It was delicious. I was so captivated, like, all the time, transitions and everything, because we're like seeing all of these like jumps, right? And then we're seeing like other universes, the way they're explaining things. It's almost like a comic book come to life, if that makes sense. Very graphic novel-y. At least to me it was.
Yes. It's very it is very like multiversal, and I like it a lot more than some of the comic book ones.
Multiverse of Madness. Just say the name.
Well, it's true. I think I said that at the beginning of the episode. I can't really remember the cold
Yeah, that
open
was a
that
year
was.
ago.
It's
But-
been 3 weeks.
It's probably closer to Into the Spider-Verse than it is Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
And I love that for it. Because, like Spider-Ham.
And Spider, yeah,
Spider-Ham is the hot dog fingers of.
and Penny Parker. Yeah,
Oh, Spider-Ham.
Anyway.
you're right. He is the hot dog equivalent.
Oh god.
We need a pork byproduct in every multiverse film.
And we didn't get that in Doctor Strange, and that's why it wasn't as good.
It was missing the bacon.
It was missing the
It
bacon.
did not bring home the bacon.
The rest of my notes are so fucking wild because I think for a good portion of it, I did not write anything because I was so captivated that I forgot. And I was like, oh shit, I should be writing some stuff down.
Question, real quick, before I move on to Miss Jobu. Did you, well, obviously you don't watch in theaters. Did you guys watch in theaters? I don't recall.
Yes.
Yes, we saw it
We
together.
definitely saw
Can
it.
I say, wow. To see all that, wow. In theaters.
It's back in theaters now, so if you go on a Tuesday, you should probably check that out in theaters.
I would highly
it
recommend it, Dahlia.
Yeah.
Anyways, can I read this next part?
Yeah, you can talk about Miss Jobu.
Okay.
Go ahead, baby
So
girl.
the whole reason
Go
Alpha,
up, baby. Take your time, baby.
Alpha Waymond is making an appearance is because the multiverse is now threatened by Jojo Potato, the Alphaverse version, who we find out is of Joy, Waymond and Evelyn's daughter, whose mind was splintered after Alpha Evelyn had pushed her to extensively verse jump in her studies and everything. Joju now experiences all universes all at once and can verse jump and manipulate matter at will. She's created a black hole like everything bagel that threatens the multiverse.
And I'm just saying, my comment about fat shaming Joy, I feel like was a really big indicator of like, oh, she's the villain. But of course, because Evelyn, for some reason in these stories, always put Joy last.
Well, you always pushes her, and
Well, I feel like
Yeah,
it
she
was not
pushes
kind. It was not kind. I think
Yeah,
it's like well-meaning, but it was not kind. Like
It's generational trauma.
yeah, they are doing
Because
that.
the same thing, because during every version, there's Gong Gong. Gong Gong does it to her, so she does it
Yep.
to Joy,
Yeah.
whose real name is Jobu Tupaki. I'm not going to keep butchering it like we do
Evelyn does it every time.
Winston Tarantula's name every time we say it.
No, we have some
It's
respect
Jobu
here for
Tupaki.
Jobu.
We do. Man, and we respect
Her
a
outfits,
star.
Incredible,
every
fantastic.
Her
her
choreography.
makeup,
Her demeanor.
the sauce.
She was so
Goated.
scary. Jobu is so scary.
So goated with so much sauce.
So scary, so good, very relatable.
She is exactly why people grow up wanting to be villains.
You saw this and you're like, wow, you are
Wow.
the villain I wanted. You're the villain I want to be when I grow up.
She's all I want to be.
It was not, unfortunately, nominated for Best Makeup, but it was nominated for Best Costume Design, which...
Yes.
Wait, are those two different categories?
Sausage
Good
fingers.
on
Need I
them.
say more?
Because costume design is one thing. Makeup having its own category is a bit cool.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like, I don't
absolutely.
know if they do that. I would just consider makeup as part of costume. If you have good makeup,
It's a
then that's
whole
good
fucking
costume.
thing, baby. And that's also
I don't
different
know
from
enough about
effects.
the words.
And you know what's so...
Well, that's different. 'cause
Like practical
SFX
effects is
like-
also makeup, but also some of them are more so.
I feel like that's special effects. It goes in... Oh,
Like
no, you're
Avatar
right.
special
Practical effects are, like, those are not digital. Those are
Those
practical
are,
effects.
like,
So that
Avatar
would go
can
into
suck my
costuming.
dick, by the way. I can't
I
believe.
don't even want to talk... I don't even want to talk about it. You know, this Oscars got a lot of things right, but it also did get a lot of things wrong.
It didn't
It's
talk.
the
It didn't
Oscars.
nominate.
It's
Nope.
not gonna.
Nope. Avatar being nominated for Best Picture, which...
It literally came out 2 seconds ago.
Okay. And then
Sit down.
Ana de
Girl,
Armas
sit down and eat your food.
getting a nomination for Blonde. That movie should not get any.
Wait,
I didn't watch it.
I
What's-
refuse to watch it.
I don't even know what that is.
It's Marilyn Monroe.
Monroe.
It's not, though. It's like a fictional biography.
Oh,
And it's really
okay.
like-
It's kind of like Elvis or
No, because that's... The Elvis thing is based on, like, his actual life. Blonde is based on a book that's fictional, but everyone keeps calling it like a biography.
Oh, see, and that's where people mess it up.
And it's really graphic and not a cool way. So,
So fuck that.
that's all I'll say on that.
However,
So
do
fuck
tune
that.
in during the Academy Awards to our commentary at some point.
Yes. We will be going live in whatever way we deem fit.
Whatever that means to us in the moment.
Come to our red carpet. It's not red. And join us in fabulous attire as we go through Oscars night.
It is a suit and tie event.
It is a suit and tie event. If you don't show up in suit and tie,
You get executed.
it's not a real red carpet.
Oh.
It's a virtual red carpet. Ketzel, goodness gracious. Just
You
as
get
villainous as Joy.
executed. With a dildo.
I love that. Anyway, imagine being all the best versions of yourself if you were Jobu Tupaki.
And then Evelyn being all the worst versions of herself. Me.
We all feel like Evelyn Kwan. That's one of the reasons why Alpha Waymond has chosen this version, or this
Evelyn.
this multiversal version of Evelyn, is she literally has made all the wrong decisions. There is no worse version of herself than her.
Guys, do you
And
think
that is
that's
sad.
See,
Solid.
that made me think, and I'm like, am I the worst version of the multiverse? Yes.
I don't think
I don't think
so.
I'm the worst, but I'm kind of down there.
I gotta be at
We
least
also-
bottom 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say bottom 5 for sure.
There's a couple people below me, like the one that decides to become a serial killer, or maybe some other terrible, infamous thing.
Hey, what if it's this
You know,
one,
I think my serial killer self would also be in my below 5.
Right?
I mean, your life
I
still
think she'd
hasn't
be
ended,
really
so
good.
like you could still make some decisions to get you there, you know.
Yeah. We can meet up with the one who does it really early.
All right.
So anyway, yeah, she's made all the wrong decisions in her life, and it's fantastic for Waymond, Alpha Waymond, because he wants her because she's the best, if that makes
She's
sense.
the worst of the best.
The-
So Evelyn, by Alpha Waymond, is given verse jumping technology, which does look like a Bluetooth apparatus.
It sure does.
To fight Jobu's verse jumping minions, and also because Jobu is trying to find this Evelyn and is like verse jumping to find her. So she's also got minions who are verse jumping, and they are now attacking the IRS building. So Evelyn has to use these this newfound knowledge to try and access her alternate selves and their skills to try and fight these minions. And it's fucking badass. And so is Waymond.
It's very
Absolutely.
Matrix-esque.
We have to talk about her failing initially, though, because that bumped her all the way back into her normal life, where she was like, they're like, oh no, she's gone back to her home world, or her home universe, where
Home
she's
world.
doing taxes. And I'm like, no, not the taxes.
Not the tax universe.
And it was so funny. But yeah, so fucking badass. So fucking cool. And also, it was because she had to say "I love you" and actually mean it to Jamie Lee Curtis's
I could do
IRS
it.
Inspector Deirdre.
I could do it. I could do
I
it.
bet you could, Ketzel. I'm sure you absolutely could. Maybe a little tear. I love you.
Do it right now. She also, while verse jumping, does get to see these snippets of her life. If she hadn't married Waymond, and she's like, it's kind of a vibe. And she's like, you know what,
That could have been so
suck,
much
dude.
better.
I
could've been
hated
great.
that. I hated that.
my life could have been really
Yeah.
fucking good if I didn't marry you. At least that's what she thinks at the moment. We'll talk about more later. And at the same time, learns about the divorce in her home verse. So she's like, you know what?
Wait. Before we get to Alpha Gong Gong, before we get to him, we need to expand on being executed by a dildo and how Jobu's like meet cute or meet evil, I guess, with
In the
Evelyn
hallway.
is. Yeah, in the hallway.
That
Yeah,
was
when Jobu
frightening.
finally appears,
Yeah.
it's a fucking moment. It is.
It,
Oof. Great scene.
I could
The
go on
lighting-
forever just watching that.
the cinnamon toast crunch of that.
Jobu finally finds this Evelyn. And so when you can master verse jumping, apparently you can change all matter. So this is where we get Jobu just like changing like a gun into confetti and like shit into dildos, which
never-
Antonio was like, absolutely, yes.
The
Absolutely want to murder a man with just a giant like 12-inch dildo.
the
Bash 'em.
unbridled.
Do you think they were like weighted with
Fear.
like steel in there?
No, they were real wiggly.
They look like real dildos.
Yeah, they were real
Yeah.
wiggly.
Maybe just like a steel ball at the very end, just like in the head.
Somebody,
glands.
Hey, if you could manipulate matter, you could do that.
Yeah.
You could make that.
I'm gonna figure out how to manipulate. That's
New
2020
Year's
goals, guys.
resolution.
New Year,
Chinese
new
New Year's
me.
resolution guy.
Manipulate matter at will.
That's always been a goal. Like telekinesis. That's my
Okay.
that's my drink of choice.
Okay, Matilda.
That's your backup.
I was going more for like, I don't know.
I'm sure you were,
Jean
but you
Grey.
are Matilda.
There's no talking out of that.
You're a baby girl that likes to read.
Baby
I
girl.
do beloved in reading.
Aw. Anyway, this meet cute is fantastic. It's impeccable. It's just everything, really. You must watch this movie, and clearly if you're listening to it,
That's
like,
the best part of this movie. That little
is
medieval.
watching.
Ooh.
This whole movie was the best part of the movie.
evil.
Anyways, yes, it was. Yeah, so at that point, she like gets saved. She's able to like leave, and then we're met up with like what is it, Alpha Gong Gong?
Mm-hmm.
Here he come. Here he come.
Here
Doesn't he run
comes
into her with
Professor
the
Gong
scooter?
Gong.
Yes, it
Yep.
is. I forgot about
You want
that.
to talk about the best part of the movie?
He like whatchamacall?
skirt.
He time travel wheelchairs into her. You know.
Yes.
It was.
Do you guys
so
remember
good.
that from the second episode, Back to the Future, when we were talking about our vehicle of choice for time travel?
Of course.
Oh, we
we
did-
said razor scooter.
And none of us said wheelchair.
Someone had a
None of us
pogo
had
stick.
Pogo stick was definitely a one.
Wow, what a throwback
Heelys.
to 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're certainly correct. But Gong Gong, yes, Gong Gong does skirt over and saves the day.
You do me
And
skirt skirt.
Get out
Then-
in the verse.
he's like, "You must kill Joy," and then I'm like, "What? You can't do that." And Evelyn, being a mom, she's like, "What? I can't do that." But he's
But
like,
a little less tentatively.
but you gotta do it. So yeah, but Evelyn instead decides to face Jobu by becoming like her. So she also masters verse jumping, and that is a real like fucked up thing to do. Again, it put a lot of strain and like terribleness onto Joy, which made her turn into Jobu Tupaki. So for Evelyn to do that, she's kind of like fucking up and kind of having daydreams, I guess, if that makes sense, because you see everything everywhere.
Your mind has to
All at the same
splinter,
time.
is what I believe they say.
Yeah.
Thank you, gorgeous. And anyway, Jobu shows up and it's like a fucking look and a fucking moment. It's every single costume is just like, and there was so many costumes. I can't even begin to tell you. If there was a costume counter, I would like to know.
Can I
But
say,
this was
this is an action movie I can get behind. That's all I'll say.
it's technically an action movie.
I
There
like
was a
the
lot of
action in this movie, but I don't
Jumping
think
on the
it's an
butt
action
plug.
movie.
Absolutely.
That was
It's everything.
everywhere.
This movie. All at once.
All at once. Yeah, jumping on the butt like that. If that was the thing that I had to do to verse jump, I'd be like, say no more.
Say less.
Say less. It's been in me this whole time.
Can someone? Oh, damn it! I was like, let's take a screenshot of Antonio's face right now. He was just like,
You have an issue with butt plugs?
you. I think the problem was you, not necessarily the butt plug.
No, the butt plug was not the problem there.
I was like, that
The
was
butt plug is never the problem. Anyway. So, as Jobu confronts Evelyn, because Evelyn has decided that I must be like her, Evelyn's mind starts to splinter, and so they just start verse jumping across so many universes. And this is a good time to ask, what was your guys' favorite universe?
I think my favorite one. Shit, I spoke too soon. I don't know. I got to think about it. You guys go.
I think maybe the one where
Starts to open their mouth.
I think it's like so tragically romantic. The one where she's like a
movie actress.
star. a movie
I was gonna say that
actress.
one or Rakakuni.
Not Rakakuni.
Rakakuni. Oh my gosh. So you made a reference, or I made a reference. I said Rakakuni, and you're like, "Oh, is that a thing?"
That's what this is from.
Yeah, that's what that was
yeah,
from.
an earlier episode.
I don't remember which episode it was.
It's in the
It's funny
summary
because
too.
I figured
so.
it out. It was you made some sort of reference in the before times, and then in between then I watched the movie, and now here we are talking
We
about
talked
it.
about Rakakuni
And-
during Tangerine.
Yep.
Why?
Ah.
I don't remember, but it was brought up.
I don't remember either.
Didn't you like the Rock universe too, Sky?
I did. That one made me cry.
Because it was so sad.
It is
so
sad.
Life never
peaceful.
existed.
But it was peaceful.
It's peaceful. That's what I like.
I
about
was
the
Yeah,
like-
it's like
universe
just be
is
a
just-
rock. It's like don't talk, just
No,
be
dude.
a rock.
Yeah,
I
love
want to
that.
exist, and I want to chit chat, because that's all I fucking do.
You should meditate on being a rock.
Some
That's
of
not,
some of
that's
us
not part of my
some of us
resolutions,
were
Antonio.
Some of us weren't depressed at the moment of watching this movie.
Some of us.
Some of us just wanted to be a rock when we
Say
watched
it one
this.
more time.
Some of us just wanted to be a rock when they watched this movie.
See, some of us.
Some
one
of
more
us.
goddamn.
Some of us can appreciate just being a
Jesus
rock
Christ.
a little bit.
Okay. What was
I'm
your favorite?
tipsy.
Not one of us.
Some of us.
Some of us.
Clearly.
If you were
You
here,
son of
I'd
a bitch.
throw down, dude.
I'm in. Some of us.
If that's not the name of this episode.
But like it's
Some of us times
SUM
3.
of us. The sum of us.
Oh.
I have to go.
You really need to meditate on being a rock a little bit.
You really should.
I think
Dahlia.
y'all need to shut the fuck up.
I feel like you're not giving the Rock universe enough. Like
like
You asked me what my
appreciation.
favorite fucking universe
No,
was.
no, no, no,
I
I
didn't,
there
ask
it
you,
was.
I didn't ask you to trash other people's choices.
That's what you're
That's
doing
my
right now.
job.
That's
You're trashing
Antonio's
me
That's my job.
for making a choice.
I wear that hat proudly. It's the fucking beret.
I was away
The
too
beret,
long.
the beret has changed you, Dahlia. Take it out, snatch it.
Okay.
Put it on.
No more
Put it on,
berets.
Antonio.
No, put it back on. Put it back on. She's got hat head.
You're just like Antoine's grandmother. She's like, get that beret out of my house.
Woo.
Anyway, okay, Dahlia, yours was
I
the
just
movie,
berated.
movie
Dahlia.
star universe.
Beret.
Antonio, what was your favorite?
I do like the actress one. I think Michelle Yeoh, and love you, Evelyn, but that's Michelle Yeoh in that dress. That's Michelle
Well,
Yeoh,
yeah,
and I
'cause
love her.
They used like promo
Yeah, they
videos
did.
From
from
Crazy
real,
Rich Asians.
the
Yeah.
red carpet,
Also,
and I was
shout
like,
out, shout out that episode, guys.
Wasn't that
Fucking
so
love
cool?
that
I
one.
noticed that too. That was fantastic.
hey, I know that poster.
It's great. I love it.
It was.
There's
that
so many
universe.
other universes that are like during some of the flashes that we just don't get a chance to like expand on. I'm like, oh,
But
that's cool.
she's a pizza sign thrower, which she does used to
Oh
The
my God.
sausage fingers, where she's in love with the
Deirdre.
IRS inspector.
That universe, I was pointing it out when we were watching it on New Year's. They had like framed cat photos in the back, and they were amazing. They were like those old school like white cat photos.
It
and I
had
was
big like umbrage energy.
like, yeah, I
Big
was like,
umbrage.
but they were so cute.
It was very kitty core lesbian.
very that.
Very what now?
Ketzel, what was yours?
Kitty core.
Oh, kitty core. I was like Katie core.
Who's Katie?
That's why I got confused too.
Another universe, I guess.
My favorite, probably the Rock
Say
universe.
Rakakuni, bitch.
Some of us really like being a rock.
Some of us have choices.
And that's the sum of us.
And that was some of us. That's a,
Anyway,
Antonio.
Jobu confronts Evelyn, and Evelyn's mind finally splinters too. Okay, sorry.
we already
already
been
did that.
saying that. It's the beret of yours. It's just filling with hatred.
Did we talk about the? Did we talk about the bagel?
We did.
We talked a little bit about the
Let's
bagel.
talk about the bagel.
Guys, we've jumped around so much.
Oh,
you
so
know what?
that-
You weren't
that's
jumped.
part of that. That's part of like.
Let's.
I don't even know where the second part
So
starts.
rather than fight, Jobu explains she's been searching for an Evelyn, who can come to believe, as she does, that nothing matters, which is my favorite line from Bohemian Rhapsody. Nothing really matters. And then she brings
Matters.
Evelyn to the everything bagel, and I just find it so
Bagel.
funny that
Who says bagel weird?
it's
Franklin.
bagel.
Bagel.
Oh, of course it's Frank.
He
His-
says,
he says bagel weird.
He says
Bagel.
bagel.
He says everything.
That's very
weird.
East
He
Coast.
says water.
He's
I
very
know.
East Coast is bagel.
He
Wait,
was
wait, wait.
born here.
Do you?
he
It's
was
fucking
born
weird.
here.
and he's like his family's like in Texas and shit. So it's like I
don't
don't
know.
But
know.
he has
if he can-
family in Boston too. So
I think it's the Boston.
Don't make excuses for him,
Bagel?
Sky.
Do you say bagel?
I say bagel. Like my.
And you were
So
correct.
you're not indoctrinated yet.
Not to
fully.
that.
So you'll say water, but you don't say bagel.
Only heathens say bagel.
Have you spilt your water yet?
I'm not drinking water.
dude, you haven't spilled your water in a long time.
Because I haven't been drinking it. I've been drinking alcohol.
So you're a dehydrated bitch?
No, I mean like in general. Like you haven't.
I used to do it all
No.
the time. Do you remember?
used
Now
to do it all
I
the
used to be
fucking
very
time.
clumsy. Now I just forget things everywhere. For example, let me just interrupt. For example, I've forgotten my lunch boxes. I've lost 2 umbrellas. I forgot my ID in the copier at work. I'm in the new era.
Your coordination is always like you just get like, where's the flaw gonna move to next? Is it your emotions, your spiritual flaws, your mental flaws, your physical flaws?
I stay mentally flawed. Let's jot that down,
I was trying
You'll
to be
forget
nice.
everything all the time
bro.
at scattered times.
I stay scattered. My mind splintered at a very young age.
No, tell me about it. I can't speak English like sober when I'm drinking. It's worse.
I can't speak. Or
Period.
Period.
read. Period.
Period.
But anyway, this bagel.
Or hear. Can't
Who-
speak, read, or hear. Right?
I've lost all senses. Anyway, the everything bagel.
Except for actually, you know what?
I
Taste has gone too.
I appreciate that everything, everywhere, all at once comes into the shape of a bagel.
Yeah.
The best kind of bagel and
An everything
everything
bagel.
bagel.
What's your guys' favorite
Everything
bagels?
on a bagel.
Everything bagel. However, I do enjoy a good sesame bagel sometimes.
I like
Jalapeno's good
blueberry
too.
bagels.
I like. Okay, so if I'm gonna get a bagel that isn't like just like a regular bagel, I'm gonna go to Einstein's, and it's either going to be a hatch chili bagel or the spinach Florentine bagel.
I feel like this describes us all so well.
The other day, actually just to make back, one of my kids as an insult called another kid that he was looking like an Einstein bro. And I was like, you don't even have Einstein bros here? Also,
The creativity. The creativity of it all.
Anyways,
Anyway, so she put Jobu had put everything everywhere all at once on a bagel, and she's hoping that
when we say everything,
everything, and she's hoping that it can finally allow her to perish. And upon seeing the bagel, Evelyn is also like, you know what, you damn right. And she also starts to be very nihilistic, much like Jobu, which is what Jobu always wanted. She wanted someone to be on her level, right?
she just wanted someone to hear her and understand her.
And we're just finding that it was always going to be her mom, the one who brings her so much pain. And that, ooh, that is real.
It had to be her.
It has to be
And
her.
you know, like in every universe, she was out to get her mom. But this Evelyn was finally on her level. And it was kind of like sad seeing Evelyn kind of like
Give
be
into
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
But that's the
nihilistic.
I mean, yeah, that's the whole point of it though. It's like the only way to defeat her is to become her, right? So it was really like painful to watch that part, at least for me, because I was feeling some very deep feelings. Like she's like, I want to die. And I'm just like, but you can't, you know? Maybe that's like the nurturing side of me. But her mom is just like, look, in the process of learning all of this and, you know, verse jumping and then experiencing everything everywhere all at once, like she's like, I just want my kid to be happy because she's been so unhappy. You know, like this is the joy that has been reduced to just feeling this way all the time, that she just simply wants to perish. And I'm just like, that's fucking rough, dude. And it made me think a lot about like parenting and whatnot, but we can get into some later things about that. But it was really rough, that part.
But
You know?
it turns out that Evelyn doesn't need to be like Jobu. In fact, she needs to be like Waymond to defeat her. Because they're about to go into the bagel, but and like all the multiverses lives, but then Waymond just starts saying to stop fighting, and that the whole quote, I feel like if you could find the scene with Waymond online, you should, because it is so good. But Waymond, who is just such a nice, silly, goofy goof, He just wants everyone to stop fighting, and he says that we just need to be kind to each other and understand each other. And so Evelyn's like, you know what?
Especially when you don't know what's going on.
Yep. Which...
And every time I see that scene come up on my TikTok, I always be crying because that part makes me cry.
And so, like, Evelyn's like, you know what? You're damn right. And so she takes, like, Wayman's so silly. He puts googly eyes on things just to bring himself joy, and he's so positive. And Evelyn's like, I'm going to do that. So to stop people from fighting, she uses her, like, verse jumping skills and changing matter into making everyone silly and goofy and laugh.
She's a verse bender.
She's a verse bender. And she's repairing all the damage and just using Wayman. Because in the end, that universe...
Wayman's philosophy.
Yeah, because in the end, that universe where she never married Wayman, in the end, they still loved each other.
They did. They meet up at some point, and it's just so sad because he reminisces on what they could have been, and
that's why
she does too.
The Hollywood actress one was my favorite because, like, you could tell they always cared about each other. And I'm just like, no. And that's what made it so beautiful and tragic. But I feel like that was the most, like, pure. Is, like, they still, I think, both got what they wanted. But then they were still wondering, what if?
Okay, but... Would you rather be rich and alone?
But, no, I want love.
I want
to be rich. And that's why Antoine's like...
I want to be rich and with Wayman. Specifically,
I want if you want it all.
I need me a freak like that.
Then you want it all, but like if you have to choose one direction or the other.
But
Key's acting in this part too, like in the movie star one is just so
impeccable.
He's gotta win Best Supporting Actor. And if he doesn't, I'm a riot.
He makes Bluetooth look sexy.
For real,
and he looks so sexy in that one too. Ooh. But
he does.
But what he says is like, yes, would you rather? And I know this goes into best quotes, but this isn't going to be one of mine. But it's like, yeah, you could be rich and alone. But then he goes, you know what? It would have been nice to just do laundry together.
Laundry and taxes.
It would have been nice to do laundry and taxes with you. And I'm like,
there was a world where you did,
and weren't rich, but you loved each other.
Anyway, love conquers all.
Antonio's like,
all I'm gonna say. Period.
Period.
That made me a little like teary-eyed. Okay.
There she is. There's my girl.
She repairs.
Coming back.
She's coming back to us.
She repairs the damage in the other universes. She makes everybody happy, and she beats their fucking asses. And then she tells Evelyn in her home universe tells Gong Gong, of Joy and Becky's relationship, which was so fucking touching. Because remember in the beginning, she was really trying to hide that fact from Gong Gong because he's so old world, blah 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 blah. And like, it was fine. It was fine. And I think that some things got fucked up in that home universe, and maybe it was like almost beyond repair. Like she's like breaking shit, but then she sits down with Deirdre and they're having a little heart to heart because Wayman had just, he'd convinced her, Deirdre, to just let them redo the taxes. So everything kind of like turns out right, you know? And it was very, this is, I think, the emotional part of the scene because in all of the universes or wherever Jobu and Evelyn are, as they're going up the stairs into the everything bagel, there's a lot of like conflict. And then they're still trying to resolve things. And we're flipping back and forth between the home universe and that. Because Jobu's like, fucking, let's go. What are you doing? I thought we were going to destroy ourselves together.
She's like, remember, bagel. Anyway, but Jobu tries to still end her life by entering the bagel. But in Evelyn's universe, Joy is like begging Evelyn to let her go. Like, this doesn't fix anything. And Evelyn has the other very heartfelt fucking speech where she says that even if she could be anywhere where nothing makes sense, she would always want to be with Joy. And that, in turn, lets Evelyn save Jobu from the bagel. And in the home universe, they finally hug. And
because even if everything sucks, it's
there
still better together. And like, that's repairing. That's not like totally fixing everything, but that's on the way to repairing.
It's a start.
Shit.
It's breaking the bagel.
So sometime later, everyone just seems so much happier And Evelyn and her family return to the IRS to refile their taxes. Evelyn and Waymond have never been happier. They're doing some sexy kisses.
They kiss.
Gong Gong is chilling, relaxing, all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of school. And Joy is there to help them. And as Deidre talks, Evelyn is drawn to the multiverse for a second, but then she grounds herself in her home universe. And they're filing their taxes. The end.
It made me appreciate love so much and being in relationships. I was having a little tough time in my brain last year, and it really felt good to see that. And then also have some quiet. In the 3 weeks that I've been gone, I was away from my pals here. And also,
only 3 weeks.
I mean, I was gone for 2 months, but
I was like, if that's true, then time is quite a concept.
To some of us here.
Time was whatever.
Oh,
Nothing
we're
really
talking
matters.
about 3 weeks since we talked.
Oh.
Yeah, and before that.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? 3
Yeah, I
weeks?
was like,
Well, the thing is, I watched this like last in December, so a lot of things have changed since then. A lot of things into perspective. To like, just see this like is reminding me of. This is a movie where I wish I could watch it again for the first time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a button for that,
A
I
show.
would love that because like it is so good every time.
you know, actually, I feel that way about a lot of movies last year. Like, if I could watch them for the first time again,
Like, Nope.
that'd be amazing. Nope, Barbarian.
The Menu.
I'm gonna go grab a tissue. Keep talking.
There she goes.
You're right.
I liked The Menu. I think I would watch it again, but I like seeing it for the first time. I'm like,
I also watched
Yeah.
it in I watched it in
Seeing it-
theaters. It was great.
Okay, it was amazing in theaters. A movie that I would love to see in theaters again for the first time is Smile.
I would actually like to go see that in theaters.
That was
I would
fun
have
in
liked
theaters.
to see that in theaters.
Uh,
But yeah, I feel like that about all the movies last year.
Well,
They were just so wonderful.
I feel like all these movies that we're going to talk about, so this is the beginning of sort of us talking about some very buzz movies from last year. We won't tell people which ones we're hitting up, but all the movies we're watching, they're all movies that I've never seen anything like them. And that's why I wish that I could reset the button. Like, I've never seen a movie like this.
no.
Yes, correct.
Like, ever.
it doesn't have as much trauma or as good writing. But there's a couple that I've seen that are multiversal.
Sure, but like this?
Well,
With the
no.
good writing and the acting and the...
It was funny. The
Immigrant
acting, the
Story.
costuming. It's so relatable.
All right, we're at 13%.
All right.
So, Dahlia, was this worth a watch?
Hi, yes. Yes. That's it.
Period.
I don't need to. I
Period.
don't need to explain
Period.
it. It just is.
Period.
It simply is.
Why haven't you watched it is really the question.
Some of us.
Some of us haven't seen it.
Go ahead, finish
it
that
shows.
sentence.
No. Some of us think that it's just perfect. Period. The end.
It is truly...
I was just saying it in a mean way.
It quickly became one of my favorite movies of all time. That's all I'll say on that. Top 5 favorite movies of all time.
I mean, it was an
Period.
instant regret. It was an instant regret in the way that I wish that I had seen it when it came out. Like, I wanted to, but we didn't. And I'm like, it was so good. I mean, like, if I saw it on the big screen, remember that part where you think it's, like, over, but then it's not? I'm like, oh, no. I was like, oh, no, it's over.
How's that gonna end there?
You can't end yet, just yet. I'm like, this is supposed to be long.
Oh,
and then it was
fucking
like,
shit,
zoink.
guys.
Why are the credits rolling?
Seeing that in theaters, it was like, now wait a minute.
Oh, hold on, wait a minute.
I was like, this movie's like 2 hours long. I'm like, we're only like an hour in. I was like, what the fuck?
I was just like, I love that. I loved it. I love that part. Yeah, I think at the beginning of this episode, I was like, I feel bad for the guy that was next to me because I was just like, and I was like,
Admit.
dude, me and watching the black phone on the way home on the plane, I was like, I was like, on the plane, I'm like, I've already seen it before, but it hit me again. I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, it was so good. But yeah, instant regret not watching it. Totally worth the hype. Loved seeing it. Yes, 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 period.
Period. Solid cast. Duh.
The most solid
The
cast, I
solidest
think.
of casts.
The solidest of casts.
Is there a type of matter beyond solids That's more dense.
No.
Whatever the densest material is.
Your skull?
Antonio's in particular.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Got
good.
him. It's solid.
Before you make your joke, you better be ready for.
No,
Now that's what
it's
I
solid.
call.
Dude, you've already
solid.
been taking dicks at me all day.
That's what people don't see. Off camera, there's more dicks to be had. So if you ever feel bad about any of us, don't. Because we probably deserved it. The soundtrack / score, the music, especially at the end, was fab.
Good sounds.
Everything is not just like soundtrack and score, but also like some of the sounds that they just used.
Yeah.
Big fan. You know, the like, what is it? I want to say, what's like a whimsical like tune? There's a whatever is playing while she's at the meat evil sort of situation. I don't know what's going on, but man, it's fucking it's fabulous.
And then we
I
also
love
got
medievals.
the whole Raccoon-y thing, which kind
The
of goes to
Raccoon-y like
Pixar,
dramatic thing.
which is Randy Newman.
No.
What is his name?
Oh, like from Toy Story?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes, it's what is it? Yeah, Randy Newman, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Randy Newman.
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 He's Raccoon-y.
Yeah.
He does the voice of Raccoon-y.
with Harry Shum junior
That's funny.
Yeah. So like, and you get that Pixar feel song in the like there too. So it's like it's so good.
It's so fucking good. At the end, where you get like all the sounds when finally the full actual titles come in, and it's just the cacophony of just sounds, was so fucking good.
So
Oof.
epic.
Or like
And
on
the
the inverse of
quietness.
that, the silence during the rocks scene.
Yes.
That's also
It's-
just super poignant. I remember watching that in theaters. I was like, man, this is like a depressed moment.
It's good.
You just meditate on being a rock a little bit.
Yeah, because you get all of that, like literally everything all at once, and then
Yeah.
you get that where it's just
Silence.
quiet, and you're just reading.
Yeah.
You probably didn't know what was going on, Ketzel. I'm so sorry. I'm sure someone explained it to you. though.
I was so happy I got to see that with my brother because he actually knows how to read, so he was whispering the lines to me as we went.
That's so good. I'm so glad.
You know, he's a college professor and he kind of has to read, so I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he was there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
costume design.
Well,
costume
I'm
design.
glad.
Costume design, guys.
We already said, bitch.
Killer.
Yeah.
We've been talking.
Killer.
Period.
We've been talking about costume designs and all the different versions. Even that stupid little sign spinning thing going
Her
on.
little chef outfit.
They got
Yeah.
it
Little
right.
Chef outfits. I love the actress dress.
The normie vibe. The fucking fanny pack.
That cardigan. That fucking cardigan.
Everything.
Oh,
The-
for the New Year's party.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved that
The
cardigan.
one that says like punk.
And
it's
Frank
so
said
weird.
they found that at a thrift store.
Incredible.
Which
So
I was
like,
dang,
be on the lookout
Damn,
at
boy.
thrift stores.
damn boy.
Yeah, just killer. Period.
Period.
Top notch.
Hope it wins.
Totally.
Better win.
Costume design.
Quotes.
Again, tune into our Oscars night.
Yes, tune in.
Now, quotes. I didn't write them down because I just know them for the scene, and I don't know the full quotes. But the laundry and taxes, the be kind by Wayman, and then when Evelyn's talking to Joy in the normal universe of why would I want to be anywhere else?
I love those. I do. But like for memorable quotes, in this universe, you're still hung up on the fact that I like girls.
Yeah.
But there's
I'm sorry you didn't clock this one, Antonio. I thought that you would have. I think at the meet cute or something.
Meet Evil.
Or afterwards. Sorry, thank you. The meet evil. They quote the story. This is the story of a girl because they say your
They
clothes
do.
never wear as well the next day. Your hair never falls out quite the same way. And I was just like,
They do.
and so I really like that.
that is cute. I like just like the little fun little snips sometimes.
Yeah.
Honestly, this script was just so
The
good.
script
It was
excellent.
amazing.
10 out of
It was
10. I can't believe it was
fantastic
almost
writing.
not going to be made.
Here are mine. I have a sad one and then a funny one. So my sad one is because I highly related to this when Wayman's like, you know, you think I'm like just silly and you see that as weakness, but this is how I fight, you know, like you think I'm like
I love
because
that.
I like so relate to that. And then my funny one is when Alpha Wayman is saying to Evelyn, You can come with me and live up to your ultimate potential, or you can live here and live with the consequences. And Evelyn goes, I want to lay here. And I'm like, yes.
I
That
think
was
I
a good one,
remember
too.
looking over at Antoine, and he was on that part on the plane.
Yeah.
And I was like, and we both laughed because we're like,
Yeah, I'm like me.
It's so good just watching this movie. Like, it's poignant sometimes and funny the other times. And
It's so,
just,
it hits all the
it's
notes.
romantic.
It hits
'Cause I
all the
think-
notes.
I can't remember their exact quote, but the Daniels were talking about how like good art, you have to have like the high art, but also the low art. So like the crass and like the high end, and it mixes so well together in this movie too. Because like
it's perfect.
you got those really deep quotes that I just mentioned, and then you got like butt plugs,
Yeah,
That
I
was
know people who don't
fantastic.
like this movie because of the butt plugs.
which is so dumb because it's like
It's
It was
about
like the
silliness.
perfect mix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't care for the silliness of it.
But
Like,
that's part of the
using
message.
silliness. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
That's part of like Wayman's thing is like fighting with silliness sometimes and just a little bit of levity in the situation. But you know, I also don't know what the fuck it is that they like sometimes, so it's confusing.
yeah. So, but I think that's true. I think the Daniels are really great, and I can't wait to see more from them.
I do enjoy this movie. a
They
shit
did
ton.
if I'm not mistaken, they directed the music video for Turn Down for What?
Impeccable.
I want to say, which makes a lot of
never
sense.
You know
seen
what? That vibe carries on into this movie.
I was like, you know what?
I've never. If I have seen that music video, I don't remember it.
We'll watch it afterwards.
I
Go on.
absolutely see that. Yep, I just looked it up. You're correct. The Daniels did indeed direct that.
And I think that makes a lot of
That
sense.
does make a lot of sense.
What year was that?
That was
The 2010s, I'm sure.
2013.
Also, I want to say, because I was watching the Oscars, they do like I don't know if it's Vanity Fair. I don't know who does it. They do like round tables with like
Oh, yes.
actors,
Uh-huh.
directors, writers, and I was watching the writers one, and Daniel Kwan, you said, yeah, he was there, and he was talking about how they met at like a camp, like when they were like younger, and they hated each other, and then they got put together on a project, and they were like, now wait a minute, our minds together.
I love it.
make
Enemies,
some good
I
art.
love an enemies to lovers.
And I thought that was so cute because like they're making great stuff. Honestly, I'm glad they turned down Loki to do this because
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Impeccable.
this was wonderful.
Dahlia, my love, do you think this movie was worth all the hype it has received? And do you feel like you missed out having not seen this until very recently?
I already answered those questions. Yes. And yes. Period. I don't need to explain myself. Look at the Mama, look at the material.
Mama.
And if you're listening to this and we spoiled everything for you, this is a good time to watch the movie.
It's your fault. You should have been watched it.
You should have been watched it, okay?
Okay.
I'm mad at myself. Yes, and yes.
And that concludes this episode of Sit Down Losers. We're watching a movie. Join us next time.
Bye, losers. Get out of here. Go watch that movie. Get out. Go on, get.